Hi, I'm CPHillips, and today you will be reviewing my oral comps presentation. This presentation was developed on Gagne's 9 events of instruction. The reason this facilitation was developed was to educate the members of the Duty First consulting team on theories and models of instructional design. By training them on how to use Gagne's 9 events, they should be able to, at the end of this training, apply these events to the CMO contract that our company has recently been rewarded. Due to the fact that I am leaving the firm, there needs to be instructional design capabilities in-house for the next 2 weeks when the contract's primary goal must be accomplished. This training began with a Why We Are Here, an overview of the CMO contract for employees. Then we went into learning objectives and then through the 9 events of instruction. The course was broken down into every 3 events followed by an activity to practice what they have learned. In this, you will see the latter half of the presentation with the questions and recap at the end. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Step 4 is presenting the content. So how would y'all present the content?
Us.
Yeah.
We said that we would chunk the information into sections that go together, like all these shortcuts maybe have to do with, I don't know, one thing and all these have to do with another, and then we would try to chunk them into kind of like sections where you do one section and then you have them practice, and then you do another section, you have them practice, and kind of follow like the rules of 10, like no section ever goes over 10 minutes.
Okay. And how would you all provide content?
A similar approach. With the shortcuts, we'd have the teacher or us show an example of how it's done, and then immediately preceding that, or after the students would try to do the same thing.
How would you enhance their guidance?
We were kind of saying that same thing about
Okay.
doing the whole mirroring
Okay.
portion, so having workstations for the classroom.
Okay.
So where we can do kind of as a facilitator, go through and teach it, and
Right.
then where they can follow along at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And how would you all enhance your guidance?
Sorry, which one were we on?
5. Enhance guidance. Elicit performance.
Oh.
No, enhance guidance? Or
Provide
provide
guidance.
guidance.
Guidance, which is
Okay.
not on my paper.
Well, so we kind of like chunked them a little bit together because
Okay, so you did the same. Y'all both chunked it
yeah.
together. And how did you elicit performance? / practice. Step 6.
Isn't that what just went over?
No, that's how you provide content.
I guess you gotta chunk that in there too. We were like,
Okay.
where you like do the activity and then go, like you're going back and forth between the activity and the
Okay.
training.
And how did you all do it?
We said that we were going to do, so after we do that we were going to break out into groups and then give them basically scenarios so that they were able to utilize each other if they got stuck.
Okay. Awesome. Other ways that you could, I would totally agree with chunking the information into types of shortcuts. One way you could look at is either maybe shortcuts with the mouse versus shortcuts with the keyboard, because there are shortcuts with the mouse also. Right click is a big shortcut versus using the toolbar at the top. Also maybe ones that format a document one way with that, or command options such as printing, copying, and pasting, kind of chunking into that type of information, so that's also good. Providing guidance, one way that you could do this is giving them instructions with it, so even though you're telling them, let them have instructions there with them, so in case they missed a step, they can look at that, just so they have that extra guidance there. And then for eliciting practice and performance, that was a great way of breaking them into groups and scenarios. You could tell them to all make sure they have their computers, and after you kind of go through with it, give them like a 5-question activity that they can do. to see what they got right and wrong. Okay, so event 7 is providing feedback. This is a very important part of training because you want to have feedback. Even if someone's incorrect, you don't want to give them feedback in a negative way. You want to twist it in a positive way. So even for an example here, I didn't say, well, you were wrong because you should have given them instructions to provide guidance. I said that's a great example, but another way is. So it's not saying to their face in the feedback method that they're wrong or anything like that. But you want to make sure you are showing them the correct way and giving them that feedback.
Does that always happen just at that time, or should you be doing it the whole time, providing feedback?
It really depends. So providing feedback here is really because event 6 was a listening practice.
Okay.
So that 7 feedback step is feedback on the practice activity they just did, so your group activity. You should be giving feedback the whole time if people ask questions or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or how I've been doing every time we have an interactivity, I walk around and kind of answer questions. That's another way of giving feedback as well. Assessing performance. This here is kind of the end of your training where you're going to give someone an exam or a questionnaire or something to really make sure they know what they're doing. For the CMO contract, we are doing a level 1 of Kirkpatrick evaluation, so we're not really assessing their performance there. We're assessing their reaction to the training, and I've already created that evaluation, so you don't have to worry about that. But the one thing that with VA that you'll see with most of their contracts, and same with the OIT one that Aaron is on doing instructional design for, even your interactivities and everything, they're very against knowledge checks because they don't want their employees to feel discouraged. 20% of VA employees are actual veterans. A lot of them suffer from like post-traumatic stress disorder and things like that. So making them have to answer these knowledge checks and assessing their performance can also trigger aggressive feelings towards these trainings. So depending on your audience, but for the most part, a 5-question quiz at the end or something like that is a great way to assess performance. And then the last, the 9th event is enhancing retention. This, again, we cannot do here because we are giving the training to CMO and they're doing the trainings, but enhancing retention is seeing how it'll transfer on the job. We won't see the 3 months after on how they're doing. We will for the PRB and PRC closeout process because we will actually be there taking notes while they're doing the process and rating the people. But for the SES training, which is the main part that you all will be working on, we will not be doing that. And this also can take the form of a job aid or a handout that can also help them on the job that you can post up on your desk or something like that. So if they have questions or steps, they can go there for that. Last round of activities is we're going to finish up providing feedback, assessing performance, and enhancing retention for the Microsoft Word training course that we're doing.
So what I have written down is like
or
a musical steps,
show
just
them
like
again.
what they're doing, provide suggestions.
Yeah, this is like your Q&A.
I think that's what you said to ask this or anything else.
Mhm.
So it says performance.
That's
We
what
can't do
do.
knowledge checks.
Yeah.
We could just be like, based on what you
What's
want
that?
to know, how much do you think it will out of your work?
Could we do
Yeah.
a Q&A for providing
Yeah,
feedback?
be like, yeah.
So it's that
That would
would
be
be
like
like
a-
assessment kind of.
Assessment process with me, they could do like around the room and could have people, like each person like list 3 shortcuts, and then at the same time.
Okay.
That's
That's good. And you could have them answer like.
There you go.
Cause I kinda like the
You could have them
yoga,
like write a paragraph.
but then also I could just
ask them to answer here and then answer something.
it's like
To
a
take.
formal.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you say first, Seth? Putting them.
Like going around the room and have people describe like 3 shortcuts that they
Maybe
because
a
that way
couple
you're gonna
people.
get variety.
I mean, you're not gonna be able to do a
Sure.
room of 500 people, but.
Oh, yeah. Just like, yeah. Maybe they're in groups too.
The enhanced retention. Maybe like have to give examples of their credits about how they use it in other places.
Yeah. Since you can't like do anything else, Chris and I could be like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you all have any questions about any of it? You kind of got it?
Yes.
Ready for an A?
Are you?
Overly.
Can you provide that, please?
Verbally, yeah.
Okay, so for providing feedback, how would you all provide feedback?
We would probably go around the room and then just kind of like see what everybody's doing and then just say, hey, that's great, or like, let me help you out with that, like if there's an easier way to do that. And then also while we're around there, ask if they discovered anything else, any new tricks that they picked up or any other shortcuts that they wanted to share with everybody else.
Okay. And how would you assess their performance?
Well, since we're not really allowed to give knowledge checks, we could just say like, there's no right or wrong answer, but based on what you learned tonight, how much do you think this would apply to your day-to-day work, or how much time do you think this could save you, and kind of just give them a chance to give feedback and kind of redefine it for themselves.
Okay. And how would you all?
We
Step
said
7.
kind of the same thing of going around and like focusing, praising on the things that they did well and reviewing the things that they missed. And also Meredith had the idea of probably after that point that the discussion's open and doing a QA at the end to kind of see where everybody's at, you know.
Okay. And that also can probably tie into assessing performance with a QA as well. But how would you all assess their performance?
We also said going around to, so at that point, kind of doing a QA and then going around and having them share examples of, give like 3 examples of the different things that they learned.
Okay. And lastly, number 9, how would both groups enhance retention? Whoever wants to go first.
We said giving examples of how they would use these in the real-time workplace. So depending on the environment
Okay.
of the workplace, printing faster, saving faster,
Okay.
all the other.
And how would you all enhance retention?
Yes, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Those are all great. That's exactly how I would do it. The let me help you is a great way to not give negative feedback, but help someone understand the right way to do something. One way for enhancing your retention again would be a job aid of these are the like press Control C to do this, press this to do this, types of things. And then for I just had a really good one in my head now I can't think of it. Share examples, feedback redefined, how much time saved. I don't know anymore. There was a way to, when assessing performance, that's also a good time to restate the objectives, because if they can meet the objectives, then their performance has been met. It's not a knowledge check, it's making sure you've understood the meaning of the training for today. So our objective review, I'm assessing your performance. What are the 9 levels of Gagne's instruction? What is level 1?
Gain attention.
Excellent. 2,
State objectives.
3,
Prior recall.
Yep.
recall prior knowledge. Excellent. 4,
Present the content.
okay. 5,
Provide guidance.
guidance. 6,
Elicit performance.
7,
Provide feedback.
8,
Assess their performance.
and lastly,
Enhance attention.
So that is our training for today. Does anybody have any additional questions that I can answer, either about the CMO contract or anything? Since tomorrow's my last day, you have me for 8 more hours to ask me anything. Again, Mary Rose and Creature can probably answer most of your questions, but
What do you think of all these steps, which ones do you think would be the most important when you're training somebody?
especially for the CMO, I would say recalling prior knowledge. Again, these are senior executive supervisors, so they have a ton of prior knowledge. They've probably, for the most part, this is not their first time doing it, so they probably have done it before. So it all depends on your audience again. And also the practice aspect, depending on what you are training. Say you're training on, again, how to use Microsoft Word, how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, how to tie a bow tie, how to tie your shoe. You really want to have those practice and demonstrations so people can do it over and over again in a comfortable environment without being judged.
Going off that, since they're senior executives, do you think there's a tactic or a way to make them take it more seriously, since they have so much prior knowledge?
Right. That again is a very hard thing, and that's when, because they are senior staff, you have to think of their experience level. So in gaining attention, like I said with this course, how I did a funny video, that would not fly with them because they're senior executives. They want everything to be professional. This is what you're going to do. You have to make sure it's all relevant to them and you're not talking down to them. Again, they've been doing this for a very long time. They've been in the system. You don't just come in off the street as a senior executive supervisor. You've worked your way up through the VA to become there. So you definitely have to make sure that it's completely serious the entire time, and really sell that this is important for you to know.